Welcome to Tynecastle, home of the league leaders. And what a fortress this has been for Derek McInnes' side on the magnificent run they've been on. St Mirren, the latest side to come and try to end the unbeaten run, and in the process end their own abysmal away form. Tynecastle is really filling up as we approach kick-off here in Gorgie. I can see the team still in the mouth of the tunnel, being just awaiting the referee's signal to emerge onto the surface here, which Alan and I were both remarking upon earlier on. Despite some of the horrendous winter weather we've had in recent weeks, the Tynecastle pitch still looks in terrific condition, and let's hope we get a game to match it. As I was saying earlier on paper at least, you would expect this to be a straightforward Hearts victory given the respective runs of form the teams have been on, but clearly, as we know, football is not played on paper. St Mirren will look to do their own disrupting here at Tynecastle and make the title race even closer, but Hearts do have the opportunity to make it a 6-point gap between themselves and Rangers for sure, depending on the Celtic Falkirk result as well. They've currently got a 6-point advantage over Celtic, but Martin Neal on the lookout for further points this evening to ensure that gap doesn't get any bigger before the close of play tonight. We've already reached 7:45 and still no sign of the team. Not entirely sure what the hold up in the tunnel is. That'll just give me an opportunity to run through the teams for you once more. It's Craig Gordon starting for the first time since May after his wonderful cameo at Dens. As the teams now emerge, it's Steinbender, Halkett, Finlay and Milne at the back for Hearts. Devlin and Beningame in the midfield. Spittle and Kizaridis either side of Braga, and Shankland leading the line for St Mirren. It's George in goal, recovering from the injury that forced them off in the defeat by Falkirk. Fraser, King and Freckleton at the back. McMenamin and John in the flanks as wing backs. Gogic, Smith and Phillips in the midfield, with Idowu supporting Mandron up front. And the teams are now out on the pitch here and going through the handshakes before taking their positions in the respective halves. And 43-year-old Craig Gordon, who has been biding his time, waiting patiently with Alexander Swallow in really excellent form since his arrival in the summer. But with his dismissal at Dens, Craig Gordon gets his chance once more to take his place between the sticks as he makes his way to the Gorgie Road end for a kick-off here tonight. And he showed up at Dens with that phenomenal save in the dying seconds just how sprightly he still is despite his advancing years, and he will be hoping to play a part in what could be an incredible, memorable season for this Hearts side. Kevin Clancy, the match referee, just bringing the ball towards the centre spot. We are going to be slightly late kicking off here as the referee pops the ball on the spot, and forward will come Warren Shankland and co, preparing to kick off here. It's going to be Cammy Devlin, who's been a real pivotal player for Hearts in the middle of the park, to kick us off here. Just gets a last word in his ear from Benny Beningame. Hearts going from right to left as we look at it from the back of the Wheatfield stand, opposite the main stand here at Tynecastle. A wonderful atmosphere building inside as we get underway, and it's back with Finlay, who fires it forward. Freckleton jumps for it, just over him. John will play it forward, comes to Devlin. He's dispossessed by Idowu, and it's back with Marcus Fraser, the St Mirren captain, to his goalkeeper Jamal George. Closed down by Shankland, but gets it forward to the halfway line. Gogic flicks it on, but Halkett will just see that back to Craig Gordon, who's roundly applauded and I doubt very much it'll be the last time he gets the applause of the Hearts fans tonight, as Kizaridis and Shankland link up nicely. Now Shankland spreads play out to the right hand side for Steinwender, into the feet of Kizaridis once more, and now Beningame about 35 yards from goal. Harry Milne joining in, clips it to the edge of the box, takes a nick off Smith and out for a throw-in over on the far side as Hearts make a positive start. Alan Preston.
Yeah, they have some nice one-touch stuff. Mullen into Shankland, Braga's involved, out to Kizaridis, eventually out to Steinwender. Really good start, great atmosphere here at Tynecastle. Derek McInnes yesterday on the club website called to arms for the fans to play their part. I think he said 9 home games left in the league. Try and play their part as much as they can.
Throw in then about 15 yards from the corner flag, right hand side, and it comes to the box from Steinwender. Takes a bounce, St Mirren trying to get it clear. Gogic manages to do that. Devlin gets his head to it and out to the left hand side for Milne, who'll play it forward. Kizaridis trying to pick up but knocked forward once more by Smith, and it's Idowu trying to bring it under control but dispossessed well by Beningame, and back to Craig Gordon, who launches it long. Fraser underneath it. Shanklin and Phillips contest the high ball. It breaks to Idowu, who tries to chest it infield to Manzon. Strong challenge there from Phillips on Cammy Devlin, and I thought it was possibly a fair enough shoulder charge. Certainly Phillips letting Devlin know he's around, but Hearts do get the free kick and it's quickly taken. Steinwender plays it into the feet here of Spittle, who plays it short to Beningame, just inside St Mirren territory, out to the left hand side to Milne, who's made that quicker than expected recovery from injury, which is good news for all concerned at Hearts. He's had such a brilliant season, Harry Milne, as Steinwender now plays it forward to Spittle. Spittle just tries to play it down the right hand side for Braga. It's out of play though, and it will be a St Mirren throw in about 15 yards inside their own half. 2.5 played. We'll keep you up to date with the goals that go in the Falkirk Stadium between Falkirk and Celtic, as Kizaridis tries a little flick through for Braga. That would have been wonderful had it come off, but it's just too close to the keeper, who manages to get it clear. And now it's Phillips asking too much. A man's on there. St Mirren are going to have to be better with the ball when they get it, because otherwise Hearts are going to dominate possession. It's going to be wave after wave of home attack.
Yeah, I think in recent weeks it's been Devlin and Beningame in the middle of the park, so I think that's why Stevie Robinson's gone with 5 in there, and especially Gogic in there. But some of Hearts' one-touch play so far has been magnificent. Poor pass there though for Kizaridis.
Yeah, he's just given that straight to Declan John when he was trying to find Steinwender, and that allows St Mirren to come forward. It's McMenamin looking for Gogic. Milne was on his toes though to knock it out of play. It will be a St Mirren throw right hand side as they come forward midway inside the Hearts half. McMenamin just been ordered back a few yards for the throw in here. He's going to leave it to Fraser actually, who's certainly got a long throw on him should he choose to use it here.
They just try and take the sting out of the game, St Mirren, at the moment, but they've got a chance of a shot here.
Yeah, they have. It's McMenamin with a snapshot on the left foot, and it's sliced well wide, but Craig Gordon not happy with someone out there who wasn't doing the closing down, lost McMenamin, and it did allow him that shot.
It's a simple crossover throw-in, and it's, you just stay with your man. It's so tight you can't pass on, so you just stay with your man. It's a simple throw-in, one that you get in academy football, and for Hearts to switch off there, allowing McMenamin to have the shot, was well wide, but good play by St Mirren, but really slack defending by Hearts.
Yeah, fortunately for Hearts, McMenamin's shot was well off target, coming off the outside of his left boot and flying well wide, but Craig Gordon was quick to let his teammates know that they can't get away with slackness like that, as St Mirren look to try and build from the back. Out for a throw in again to the visitors, who have failed to win on the last 3 visits to Tynecastle since a 2-0 victory here in April of 2023. Fraser with the throw in, flicked on by Manzon. Idowu can't get there. Halkett, another one who's done an excellent season at the heart of the Hearts defence.
All these guys like Halkett and Finlay and guys like that, you just never know what can happen in the Scotland squad for the World Cup.
Absolutely.
You know, there could be injuries. We've seen it with Lyndon Dykes missing out in the Euros with injury. Someone comes in, it's an opportunity for people to try and be on that plane to America.
Yeah, it certainly is. Craig Halkett certainly has got to be in Steve Clarke's thinking. Steve Clarke did select Stuart Finlay previously as well. Knows him well from his Kilmarnock days. Here's Kizaridis, trying to get away from Gogic. He's managed to do that in the centre circle here inside the St Mirren half, just leaves it to Steinwender. Pretty fluid. We were wondering about that Hearts midfield stroke attacking formation. Spittle certainly seems to be mainly over on the right hand side. Kizarides just kind of roaming wherever he likes at the moment as Devlin picks up in the midfield for Hearts and leaves it to Beringame, who then finds Spittle, who's just in a central area right now. Steinwender into Shanklin and back to Spittle, about 25 from goal, out to the right hand side for Steinwender, and then Shanklin once more on the angle of the box, goes for the little 1-2 off Spittle, and he just loses out there. A combination of Phillips and then Freckleton trying to fire it forward. It's going to go out for a throw-in over on the far side. 6 minutes in, St Mirren just beginning to ease their way into the game after a bright start from Hearts. No major test for either goalkeeper yet. 0-0 here and 0-0 between Falkirk and Celtic as well.
Again, it's another really good throw-in again from St Mirren. The way they get out, you know, Hearts have pressed them, but it's just a simple bit of movement. Hearts switching off again allows St Mirren out. Really good play by them.
Here's Smith. Oh, that's a slack one though. He's given that straight to Spittle in the centre circle. He comes back the way, evades the challenge there from Mandron, and plays it back to Halkett. Milne for Finlay, midway inside his own half. Plays it square to Halkett once more. He'll be closed down by Mandron. Clips it forward, looking over the top for Braga. I think he's onside. There's certainly no flag at this stage. Now there's a flag for a foul by Braga on Freckleton as he tried to regain possession. It will be a free kick to St Mirren just outside their own area. 7 in, 0-0.
Yeah, it was a ball over the top by Halkett. Braga was coming back. He was right. I thought he was offside as well, from an offside position certainly. Got himself back onside, but then Trowell and Freckleton in the corner lets them away.
So free kick to be taken by Shamal George. Goes long, looking for Mandron. Halkett rises, comes off his head and down to Milne, who knocks clear on the right foot up towards Shanklin, who brushes his marker aside, breaks back to Beringame, out to Milne left hand side, still 20 yards inside his own half. Forward for Kizarides, the Greek winger, inside to Benny Beringame on the halfway line, looking for options, just stays composed though, and eventually plays it to Milne and then back to Devlin, and then Finlay forward for Beringame on the edge of the centre circle and into Spittle. Hearts knocking the ball about pretty nicely at the moment, no real end product as yet, as Finlay plays it out to the left to Milne, back in field for Devlin. Another lovely one-touch pass forward for Beringame, applauded by the home fans as Beringame finds Shanklin and then out to the right for Steinwender. Now Hearts are advancing. Spittle back to Devlin. Spittle once more on the angle of the box right hand side. Steinwender once more, and Shanklin joining in. Steinwender plays it through, looking for Spittle, didn't quite get there. St Mirren cut it out and try and come forward themselves as Adowu plays it to John. No way through for him, off Steinwender. And, another example, Alan, of the nice quick passing that Hearts have been really beginning to show in their play sometimes.
Yeah, there's a lot of nice one-touch stuff between Beringame and Devlin, Shanklin, Kizarides, Braga. You'll be hoping that they can continue that, but St Mirren are a good side. You know that for me they're in a false position. We've seen that with them winning the League Cup.
Phillips has been dispossessed by Spittle, and now it's Shanklin leading the charge. Plays it back out to Spittle right hand side. He tries to cut it back for Shanklin again, but Phillips is in the way to cut it out.
He's got to pick his head up there, Spittle. It's an easy one. He's got time. There's nobody near him. He's in at the byline. Pick his head up, look at Shanklin, pulls out. Braga goes near post. It's a poor cross from Spittle.
Yeah, you'd expect better of him as Kizarides plays it off the referee.
The referee's got to bounce it. It hits the referee. For the people listening, it hits the referee, so the referee's got to bounce the ball. But Kizarides put his hand on it and started it himself.
I mean, the referee might actually have let the game go because Kizarides still had possession, but as you say, he put his hand on it, so arguably it could have even been a free kick to St Mirren, but that would have been harsh. But it was a bounce ball in the end. The home fans upset that Kizarides wasn't allowed to just put his hand on it and immediately restart, but that's not the law, unfortunately. Here's Mandron on the halfway line under pressure from Braga, who's stolen it out on the right hand side, and he's done brilliantly to keep it in, and then he plays it beyond Freckleton. Back across comes King to dispossess him, and then good play from Freckleton to move away from Braga. Being played at a good old pace, this one. St Mirren right up for it as well. they're no doubt fed up of the losing run that they've been on, as Devlin gives it straight to Phillips. St Mirren have it. Gogic forward to Dolwood, and Gogic tries to poke it out to McMenamin here, right hand side, gets too much on it, and it's out for a throw in. Two Hearts on this near side. 10 minutes play, 0-0.
He's playing at a good pace, Alistair. Really good pace of the game. St Mirren are playing their part as well.
Back to Craig Gordon. He just plays it short to Halkett. Steinbender back to Craig Gordon once more. Nodded down for Gogic in the midfield, and then forward by Smith. Man drawn for Gogic, in steps Harry Milne to dispossess him midway inside the Hearts half. And then Spittle firing it forward. Braga's he got this pace here. He gets to it first, certainly. He's out on the right hand side of the penalty area. And tries to play it into Shanklin. It wasn't a bad idea, certainly, but it's too close to Shamal George, and it will be back in the goalkeeper's possession.
I think you can see with St Mirren playing the back three, there's balls that can be rolled outside Freckleton, especially on that side. And Braga's got the beating of him for pace, as we've seen there.
The thing is, in this Hearts team now, Alan, there are so many quick-witted players like Braga, like Kizaridis, Shankland as well. You know, they don't need to pause and think about it. They already know what they're going to do well in advance of getting the ball, so that's why they're able to play this quick passing, and it can tear teams apart.
No, for a number of years on the show on a Saturday, I'm always getting asked what Hearts lacking, and they lack pace in the wider areas. They've now got that in abundance now.
Beringame goes in heavily there on a Dovu. It is, yeah, he just went over the ball there, and the St Mirren players adding their weight to the referee's opinion here, and the card is coming out, and it is yellow for Beringame. As always, these incidents will be checked by VAR to make sure it's the correct decision, and it definitely didn't look like a good challenge, Alan, from our vantage point up in the stand.
No, certainly not, and it would certainly be looked at. I think it was a lunge from Beringame in the end there. You know, he takes a heavy touch, and when you take a touch like that, Alistair, you become desperate, you chase it and you lunge, and that's the bad thing about it. It'll have to be checked. I'm sure it will be, and for Benny Beringame, he'll be hoping that it's just a yellow.
Certainly the on-field decision, Kevin Clancy's making it clear, I think, to the St Mirren players that it will be, or is being checked by the VAR, who's Stephen McLean, this evening, as Adowu continues to receive treatment, gets back to his feet now with the help of the St Mirren physio, as Kevin Clancy still holding his hand to his ear.
I think they're still checking this.
Yeah, they could be. Oh, he's going to come to the monitor.
That's what I
thought, Hearts
honestly
could be down to 10 for the second game in a row, and it could happen very, very early, and this could change the complexion of this game altogether. Well, I think we both thought, Alan, as soon as it happened, we thought it was a bad challenge. It's difficult to tell from the distance away quite how bad it is, but I think we both kind of winced, and it's not that much of a surprise to see Kevin Clancy being called to the monitor.
No, it's not, and I think, as I said, Alistair, in commentary there, that when a player takes a heavy touch, he then lunges for the ball. That's when the problem is, so we'll soon see what he thinks.
On he comes, Kevin Clancy. What is the decision here? Benny Beringame, yeah, he's going off. The Hearts fans are unhappy, but 14 minutes in, Benny Beringame has been dismissed. He's upset. I mean, it's one of those ones that there's no malice in it. As you say, he lost control, tried to lunge to keep possession, and he's just caught the player too high. And Hearts are going to have to battle this one out for even longer with 10 men, and it's 0-0 as it stands, and St Mirren are just being given a massive boost as they prepare to take this free kick. Benny Beringame off after 14 minutes.
Yeah, it's a tough one for him, but you know, I'd like to see it again, but we thought ourselves at the time it wasn't nice, wasn't pretty at all.
So the free kick taken by Smith.
Offside.
Gogic has not been able to reach it. No flag has come, and now it comes, and the free kick will be awarded to Hearts in their own penalty area. But well, if you're going to be champions, Alan, you're going to have to deal with adversity. They did it brilliantly at Dens Park at the weekend.
Yeah, but when they had the goal, they were one up at this point. You know, I would imagine they'll try and make a change. You know, they need someone else in the middle of the park. They need a bit more steel in there. Just try to see who they've got. Magnuson could come on and play in there. You know, that could be the one. Or does he go more defensive? Does he bring on another defender and take off the likes of Braga again? Because Kizaridis is the one that is a ball carrier for you.
Yeah, Blair Spittle's just kind of slotted into centre midfield, for the moment, but
he's offside.
It's got to be offside as well. Idowu, yeah, the flag goes up from the assistant Frank Connor on the near side here, just down below us, and the free kick again goes Hearts' way. But it's a different game now. 10 against 11 for the best part of 75 minutes.
Yeah, it's the way it is. You know, you can't lunge in like that. I'd like to see it again, but we felt at the time, Alistair, it wasn't a nice tackle.
Free kick to Hearts then, taken by Halkett. What Hearts would give for a goal pretty shortly to give them something to cling on to, as they did at Danes. Here's Devlin coming forward. They'll still be doing their fair share of attacking. Kizaridis trying to link with Shanklin, but it breaks off a Mirren player, and back to Shamal George. And the Tynecastle crowd, as you were saying, Derek McInnes, is urging them to get even more behind the team. They've got a massive part to play tonight as well, Alan.
They do, yeah, and they had a massive part before Benny Beningame was sent off, you know, and they were playing the part, and they'll continue to do it. You know, that's what football's all about. You got to keep your discipline. You can't lunge into challenges. Wasn't a pretty challenge for the looks of it for where we are, and we're at the back of the Wheatfield stand. You know, so what Stevie Robinson will be hoping now, that his team just keep their discipline. You know, they've got that opportunity now to try and win this game. They've got an man advantage for a long time in this game.
McMenamin just loses control of the ball, and it's swept away by Spittle from inside his own area. But St Mirren will feel this is a really good opportunity to go and break that poor run away from home. They've lost their last 3 games in general, but they've no wins from their last 6 away from home in the league. Drawn 1 and lost 5 of them, conceding 2 or more goals each time. So they need to try and stem that kind of form if they're not to be drawn into a relegation dogfight. As Freckleton picks up just a few yards inside his own half, tries the diagonal here for McMenamin. They will have to switch play to try and make the most of their extra man. McMenamin, deep ball, it's not a bad one. Can John keep it in? Not sure he's managed to do so, and he's not, unfortunately for St Mirren, because it looked like a really decent ball in from McMenamin. It just evaded his opposite wing back Declan John, and behind for a goal kick. And after what we've played 18 minutes now, and it's Hearts 0, St Mirren 0, but Hearts down to 10 with Benny Beningame red carded. Yeah, and
Derek McInnes has just called over Lauren Shanklin, so he's clearly given him an instruction there. You know, I just thought it would have gone to 3 at the back, and then see where he gets on from there. But he's elected at the moment, and it is at the moment, not to make a change.
Yeah, no immediate sign of a switch. As I say, Spittle's gone in beside Devlin in the heart of the midfield there, as it's won by Steinvender on the right hand side. Devlin goes back towards his own goal, Finlay, and then Harry Milne just nods it back to Craig Gordon again. But this is a real test of Hearts' title credentials for the second game in a row, going down to 10 men. But very early on in this one, as Beningame sees his yellow card upgraded to a red after the review by Kevin Clancy. Here's Richard King just outside his own penalty area for Freckleton, who scored in the league draw against Hearts, and was in my opinion extremely unfortunate to have a second ruled out shortly afterwards for an infringement on Lawrence Shankland from an offside position. But that one finished at 2 apiece, 1-1 in the League Cup before St Mirren won on penalties, on their way to, of course, the triumph at Hampden last month, which will live long in the memory of these St Mirren fans, as King now plays it forward to Smith, straight back into the starting lineup after recalled from his loan because of at least partly because of the injury crisis they've been experiencing, St Mirren, especially to midfielders. They're missing the likes of Mark O'Hara, Keanu Bacchus in there. Forward it goes to Declan John, he can't keep it though. Devlin, he's lost it back to John though, and now it's Smith just outside the area, forward to Phillips, forces it out to the left hand side. It's Idowu tries to curl one. That's a brilliant goal Craig Gordon at full stretch, couldn't keep it out. Oh, now the flag's gone up. Well, that will be checked as well. Certainly the Hearts players claimed for offside early in the move against the Dovu. It didn't immediately go up. He was allowed to execute it, and boy did he do that, curling it in off the post. Then the flag's gone up, and now VAR will check. Is that the correct decision or otherwise from the on-field officials?
It's a wonderful finish when you look at it. You know, it must be tight as well. You know, the Hearts players put their hand up, but it's going to be a tight one. Lines will be drawn. It'll take a bit of time to get this one done, but what a wonderful finish it was. I've got to say, it was magnificent. Really good onto his right foot and curls it into the back of the net, giving Craig Gordon absolutely no chance. But flag's gone up, and we'll just see what happens here.
Yeah.
When you go down to 10 men, it's always the same, where if you're Stevie Robinson, you get people wide. Chalk on the
confirmed as offside. Relief around Tynecastle for the most part, as Roland the Dowu is denied a fabulous goal, but a good call, you'd have to say, from the assistant down below us, because it did look exceptionally tight, but verified by VAR. And still 0-0 then, still 0-0 at the Falkirk Stadium between Falkirk and Celtic, as St Mirren get a free kick, and a bit of restlessness around Tynecastle as a few decisions go against the home side.
You know, this is where you, as I was touching on earlier, where St Mirren can afford to play 4 up, 2 wide and 2 through the middle. Keep that Hearts back 4 back, because Mullen's going to have to tuck in when the ball's on the other side, and it gives a lot of width for St Mirren to try and get into that Hearts back 4 and get plenty crosses into the box again.
Adobu's started the game well, playing pretty much up as a second striker there alongside Manzron, usually a little bit deeper in the midfield, but needs must, I guess, at the moment for Stephen Robinson, although Lundeloo is on the bench tonight and available if required, as Manzron fails to control over on the far side, and it's out for a throw into Hearts midway inside their own half.
A long way to go, Alistair. 3/4 of the game left. Hearts down to 10 men. St Mirren, just, you can see Stevie Robinson just asking them to pass it. St Mirren, pass it about, move Hearts players about.
Yep, yeah, that's what you need to do when you've got the man advantage, isn't it? Make the best use of that. But here's Braga coming forward for Hearts down the right hand side, with Fraser marking him. Still Braga, now it's back with Kizaridis into the feet, looking for Braga, just evades him, comes back to Kizaridis, does get it to Braga that time. Kizaridis trying to go through a gap that wasn't there, and Gogic gets it clear. Now it's up to Dowu, but again it's lovely intricate play. Braga and Kizaridis, when they link up, it's a joy to watch.
Yeah, it is, and that's what Hearts are going to have to do. They can. Kizaridis is a ball carrier, as is Braga, can to get them further up the park. You can see that Kizaridis is playing on that right hand side of midfield now, but they've got to watch Phillips, because he'll run through in between Steinvender and Halkett.
It's Richard King playing it to his right to Marcus Fraser, just inside his own half. The St Mirren captain back in field to King once more. He'll try a big diagonal switch out to Declan John, watched all the way though by Steinvender, who nods it down to Devlin. Kizaridis comes back into his own half, plays a little bounce pass off Shanklin, and then gets it back from Spittle, and now brings it out to the left hand side for Harry Milne. Here come Hearts looking for the opening goal against the odds. Low ball in, and it was Braga who got on the end of it at the near post, but he couldn't get a delicate enough touch on it to angle it beyond the goalkeeper. It goes wide a goal instead, but that was a brilliant move from 10-man Hearts, just not finished by Claudio Braga.
Yeah, great from Kizaridis and Milne, really good energy getting up there, and I just wonder if Braga could have stepped over it with Shanklin walking onto it behind him.
St Mirren get us moving once more. Richard Kick, but that is a warning to them that despite being a man down, Hearts are not going to sit back and allow them to boss this game, but they are. Freckleton had a real opportunity to do some damage there, but he overran the ball. Steinbender gets it clear. It might be better than a clearance. It's Braga just over the top from 10 yards out. Just tried to lift it over the goalkeeper. He's taken a sore one in taking the shot at goal, and as Steinbender's clearance became a wonderful pass, Braga just about applying the finishing touch, but just over the top. He stayed down here, having taken the challenge after the shot had gone, but it remains Hearts 0, St Mirren 0.
Yeah, it just played over the top. You think the St Mirren defender's going to deal with it. He doesn't in the end. You just wonder if Braga cuts back across him, but he's unlucky there. Braga is. He's on his weaker left foot, lifts it over the top of the crossbar. But the two although St Mirren have scored a goal that's been offside, the better chances have fallen to Hearts so far.
Yep. Still 0-0 though, as it is at the Falkirk Stadium. More or less half an hour on the clock there, just a little bit less here. We're a little bit late kicking off, but still goalless in both games in the Scottish Premiership tonight. You listen to Sports Sound with us on BBC Radio Scotland as the title race continues with certainly 3, arguably 4 teams involved. Motherwell have been on a fabulous run pretty much from the start of the season themselves, and will perhaps consider themselves part of that title conversation.
A bit slack King there with the ball went over the top with Braga, but also there his short range pass.
Plays it infield now to Oisin Smith, who's playing as the deepest of the midfielders for St Mirren. That's a poor pass forward though, straight to Steinvender, out to Kizaridis again, nice little touch past one St Mirren defender, but he loses out to the second, and now St Mirren will try and come forward. It's Declan John carrying it into Gogic in the centre of the park, out now to the right hand side for McMenamin. Milne comes out to meet him into Adowu, right hand side of the box. Finley's with him just outside the penalty area. Adowu trying to bamboozle him, gets it back to Fraser, who plays it off Spittle, and out for a throw in on this near side to St Mirren, quickly taken short by Fraser. And it comes from Smith, glanced on I think by Manzon, comes all the way through to John at the back post. It's going to break, almost broke certainly to Adowu at the edge of the penalty area. He couldn't bring it under control, and it's hammered out of play over on the far side for a St Mirren throw in midway inside the Hearts half.
Yeah, they had numbers in the box at Mirren. If John could have picked one out, it's a slight deflection off of Devlin, and it comes out the box, and Hearts managed to clear it. But St Mirren certainly have numbers. Phillips is the one that's charging into the box time and time again.
Fraser's diagonals cut out there by Steinvender, but again it's going to be a St Mirren throw-in on that left hand side as they come forward. Back to King and onto the centre spot where Marcus Fraser's waiting. Fraser just edges forward a few yards, then plays it back on the halfway line to King. Forward now to Smith. He gets turned and makes his way towards the edge of the penalty area. Gets lucky there, gets the ball back off Devlin. St Mirren need to be more careful, as Alan pointed out. There was a misplaced pass by King. There's been 2 or 3 careless passes from them, despite the man advantage. As Smith and King exchange passes on the halfway line. We've played 28 minutes here, it's 0-0. But Hearts down to 10 after the early dismissal of Benny Beningame. Milne tries to head clear. Fraser though gets it back to Mandron. Mandron 25 yards from goal, hits the target, but Craig Gordon goes down to his right hand side and collects that one pretty comfortably. A save you'd expect him to make. Hearts 0, St Mirren 0.
Yeah, decent enough hit, but simple for Craig Gordon. You said he sees it's a long way out, 25 yards on the ground. Comfortable save for the keeper, but better from St Mirren. I think if St Mirren play into the wider areas, they'll get joy. They try to go down the middle, that's where Hearts have got numbers.
Still goalless in Falkirk, between Falkirk and Celtic. Here come Hearts looking to open the scoring. It's Kizaridis, but Phillips steps in and hammers that out of play over on the far side for a Hearts throw in, about more or less in line with the edge of the 18-yard box. Devlin's just going to leave this one to Steinvender.
At the moment, the bigger lads, it's usually Finlay, Halkett would go up. They're not going up now. Steinvender's got a long throw in, but the big lads are staying back now.
Yeah, 2 and 2 at the back actually, Hearts at the moment. Adowu and Mandron right up there as offside flag goes up against Hearts, and earns St Mirren a free kick. Stephen Robinson wants a quick word with Mikael Mandron over there about how best to utilise perhaps the extra man they have. Hearts will want to at worst get to half time at level pegging, and then perhaps reorganise further from there, but they managed okay so far with a man down. Had a bit of practice at it at Dens at the weekend. Here's Richard King, clips up for the run of Phillips. Devlin's going back there, wins the header, comes to Gogic, he's miscued, it's always got to be offside, comes off Gordon into the back of the net of Harry Milne. The flag's up once more, pretty sure that's a correct one against Adowu once more. Looked more clear cut that time, but a little bit of a a rammy after that when it came off Gordon. He made a good save, but it bounced off Harry Milne into the back of the net eventually. I think this one will also be chalked off, but of course it will be checked once more as St Mirren threatened just a long ball there as Devlin got it clear. Gogic completely miscued it, and Adolu seemed to be standing in an offside position before he got the shot away, but we'll soon see if that again was the correct call.
Yeah, just us looking at it here, he looked well off, but you never know. We've seen it on Sunday, everyone thought it was offside on Sunday, and then the referee gets a decision from VAR that he's onside Yogan, and they end up Swallow gets sent off for Hearts. But I thought this looked more clear cut, but clearly not. It's taken a bit of time.
Yeah, sometimes, you know, when you're just trying to follow the game with the naked eye, you don't always see where every player exactly is positioned when the ball comes off the boots, in this case of Alex Gogic. Hearts will certainly be hoping this VAR decision, like the last one, goes in their favour, unlike the first one, which went against them when Biringame's yellow was upgraded to a red. Kevin Clancy awaiting the decision.
It must be tight, Alistair, for it to take this long. You know, hopefully it's not as long as that game last night between Man City and Newcastle, which took about 3 minutes. But this is tight. Must be tight.
Yeah, it's confirmed again there was offside as Kevin Clancy raises the arm, and the Hearts fans breathe another sigh of relief. So it remains Hearts 0, St Mirren 0. We've played almost 32 minutes, and Craig Gordon will take the free kick. Idolu twice caught in an offside position when the ball ends up in the back of the Hearts net. On both occasions it's been chalked off. Gordon then with the free kick, well over the halfway line, comes to Braga away from Phillips, 25 yards from goal. Looks like he's just shown too much of that to Declan John. That was a good opportunity perhaps for Braga, but unlike him to offer the defender so much of a sight to go. Now John almost getting it square for Idowu there, and that would have been a tap-in potentially for Idowu. Brilliant break from St Mirren, you'd have to say. Terrific ball forward for John, who burst into the Hearts area, but he just couldn't quite get it beyond the last Hearts defender, and it's behind for a corner instead.
Yeah, really good play by St Mirren. Phillips to John, tries to pick his head up. Idowu at the back, Finlay gets back. I don't know where Milne is, you know. I think if you're Derek McInnes, you've got to tell your back four stay as much as you can, because Milne was caught in no man's land at that point, and if it goes to Idowu, it was 20 yards free area with only Craig Gordon to beat.
Corner kick then on the left hand side for St Mirren, and it's Oisin Smith across there to take it, fires it in near post, glanced on by Manzone, comes all the way to King will retrieve it outside the box and play it back to Declan John once more. Left footed, he'll clip it in towards the back post, but it's an aimless ball from John and straight behind for a goal kick to Hearts. And St Mirren really haven't made the most, you'd have to say, thus far of the extra man. Still 0-0 here at Tynecastle between Hearts and St Mirren.
That'd be fascinating if it goes to half time 0-0. What do both managers do? Does Derek McInnes change his shape? Does he change personnel? Does Stevie Robinson do the same? And I think Stevie Robinson can afford to play a front four if he wants, you know, because they've got that man advantage. Hearts are still pushing bodies forward, but if Stevie Robinson wants to win this game and he's brave, he keeps four up front.
Yeah, well, it would certainly give them a bit more breathing space down the bottom. They're currently 4 above Kilmarnock with this and one other game in hand. 4 below Dundee also with the 2 games in hand. So a victory tonight would certainly aid their cause as they look to steer clear. I wonder if top 6 might be beyond them this season, having managed to get there for the last 3 in a row, which is a phenomenal achievement, in addition to, of course, the silverware they've just won. But free kick goes St Mirren's way here. Manzone knocked off the ball, and the home fans certainly not happy with some of the decisions. I'm not sure any of them have actually been wrong, but football fans don't always take that into consideration when forming their opinions of the referee. As St Mirren pick up right hand side through Fraser into King, and Freckleton out to the left hand side to Phillips. Phillips spins away from Kizaridis, back on the halfway line to Freckleton, and now King once more just inside his own half. 10 to the break, still 0-0. Here's McMenamin right hand side, forward for Gogic. Gogic tries to spin inside. Spittle does well initially, but then he's lost it where he's been pulled back. The assistant referee flagging there and giving or notifying the referee at least that there should be a free kick going Hearts' way. And Kevin Clancy duly obliges.
Yeah, it's good defensive play by Spittle there. He gets inside Gogic, just uses his strength a little bit to hold Gogic off, and then Gogic fouls him. And it's assistant on this side that gives it, not the referee.
Craig Gordon then preparing to take the free kick. Hearts have won 5 of their last 6. Alan won't need me to remind them who the other one was against, the defeat by Hibernian, but that's their only one in their last 8 games, but they've got a job in their hands to keep that run going tonight. Down to 10 men since the 14th minute when Benny Beringamy was ordered off for a challenge on Roland Idowu. Harry Milne's got a throw in here about 30 yards from the corner flag as Hearts come forward down the left hand side. He's got it back here from Braga. Now it's Spittle, squeezes it through, trying to find Braga. Kizaridis also almost latched onto it, but St Mirren have picked it off and now try and counter themselves as Phillips finds John, and then down the left hand side it's Idowu stopped in his tracks brilliantly by Steinbender, but Shanklin couldn't keep the ball in play and it's out for a St Mirren throw-in.
When St Mirren break, we heard Derek talking about it, even with 11 men, they're very good on transition. When they win the ball, they're quick to get it forward, and you can see that again tonight.
Here's McMenamin right hand side onto the left foot, sends it in back post, looks like there's too much on it again, and Steinbender sees it behind to ensure that is the case. Goal kick for Hearts, 37 on the clock, still 0-0, same scoreline at the Falkirk Stadium between Falkirk and Celtic. Both Celtic and Hearts looking to improve their title hopes tonight by earning victories, but of course that is easier said than done. Neither Falkirk or St Mirren are going to give up the points lightly as Craig Gordon sends the goal kick over the halfway line, met by the head of Marcus Fraser onto the head of Cammy Devlin, who gets it forward again. Kizaridis trying to force it forwards. Good challenge there by Spittle on Gogic. Out of his goal comes Shamal George, just knocks it pretty aimlessly forward. Halkett will just see that back to his goalkeeper, who's had to pick the ball out of the net a couple of times, both from, as it turns out, offside incidents, but otherwise hasn't had all that much to do. As King goes back towards his own goal and knocks it out of play under pressure from Shanklin.
That's a good ball, Alistair, down there. When you're playing a back three, it's a good ball between the 18-yard box and the touchline. Lovely flighted ball down by Milne. King's got to deal with it, puts it out for a throw almost at the 18-yard box.
Yeah, infield it comes from Harry Milne. Kizaridis touches it here to Steinbender on the edge of the box.
He's got to hit it.
Yeah, Phillips cuts out the return ball aimed at Kizaridis, but arguably Steinbender would have been better taking a shot himself there.
I think that's your centre half playing it right back. You know, he's not got that in his armoury to hit it for there, but it was on to hit all day long.
Kizaridis himself might have been able to squeeze the shot away, but he was closed down pretty quickly, in fairness. Here's Spittle at the edge of the box trying to find a teammate, comes to Shanklin, out to Milne midway inside the St Mirren half, tries to feed it out to the right hand side. It was an ambitious ball and St Mirren have cut it out. Phillips has shown too much of that to Devlin though, and between himself and Steinbender they've got Hearts moving in an attacking sense once more. St Mirren though have won it back, as you can probably tell by the reaction from the Hearts fans there. Played up towards Mandron. Who did that come off last? It is a St Mirren throw in again. The Hearts fans voiced their discontent with that decision as Mandron plays it infield and it's picked up by Smith. Smith out to this right hand side for McMenamin into the feet of Idowu midway inside the Hearts half, back to Smith once more, forward to McMenamin, just tugged slightly by Milne, but play continues as McMenamin knocks it back to King and now Freckleton, and out to the left hand side to Declan John, up against Steinbender, forward for Phillips. Is he offside? No flag as yet. Left hand side it's Killian Phillips, Devlin's with him, squeezes it through for John, right across goal, right across the 6 yard box. No takers there as Idowu barges into Blair Spittle. That'll be a free kick to Hearts just outside their own penalty area, and you can hear the Hearts fans not happy at the way things are going here in terms of the decision making, but that one does go in their favour think they perhaps wanted Dowu booked for that one, but will just be a free kick just outside the box. Hearts 0, St Mirren 0, 5 to play in the half.
It's not a booking, far from it. Dowu just leans in. It's shoulder to shoulder, but Dowu's a little bit more strength, and Spittle goes down. It is a foul, but it's not a yellow card.
Yeah, agreed. Nonetheless, free kick to be taken here by Craig Gordon. Celtic have gone one up through Benjamin Nygren. He's their top scorer this season, back in the starting lineup this evening, and back on the score sheet once again, having scored, I think it was the third against Dundee United when he came on at the weekend. So 1-0, the first goal of the evening in the Scottish top flight, goes the way of the champion Celtic, who'll be looking to narrow the gap if at all possible on Hearts this evening, draw themselves level with Rangers if they win in terms of points at least, as Phillips has it on the left hand side for St Mirren. Can't find a teammate though. Kiziridis will have it and plays it back to Halkett. Halkett out to the left hand side for Milne. Milne tries to turn away from McMenamin, plays it off him and out for a throw in on the near side. 0-0.
I've got to say, Kiziridis got lovely soft feet when the ball plays zipped into him. He's got a wonderful touch, good awareness about him. Sometimes he goes for the nutmeg when he can go and try and drive and take people on. But he's a wonderful player.
Yeah, he's been an excellent addition to Hearts squads and indeed the Scottish game in general. That Nygren goal came in the 44th minute there, just before half time, as Harry Milne prepares to take a throw in here. We've got about 3 minutes left of the opening 45. There will be a fair bit of added on time because of the various VAR checks. We've had 3 of note, so you'd imagine there'll be a good 2 or 3 minutes added on at the end, as Finlay plays it out here to Milne on the left hand side, midway inside the St Mirren half, tries to get it into the feet of Kiziridis. Now it's Braga turns back inside and just can't quite find the gap, but he has one inside a corner on this near side, and the Hearts fans get right behind their side once more, looking to help them find the opening goal just before half time.
I've got to say, they've looked the more dangerous, Alistair, going forward. The lovely little passes been shankling Kiziridis and Braga at times. It's really good to watch, and this is where Hearts best in the league at set plays.
Yeah, absolutely. They've got a fantastic record from set pieces, as Kiziridis prepares to take the corner kick from the left hand side in towards the back post, but Shamal George takes that under no great pressure, and it's a bit of a waste for Hearts on that occasion, as Shamal George now bowls it out to Freckleton. A couple of minutes left in of the 45, as it's picked up on the left hand side and then played in fields. And welcome to Tynecastle to listeners who've been listening into the first half of Falkirk Celtic. This is the closing couple of minutes of Hearts against St Mirren, where it's 0-0, but Hearts have been playing with 10 men since the 14th minute, in which Benny Beningame was shown a red card after a on-field review. It was initially a yellow for a rather lunging challenge, and on review Kevin Clancy upgraded it to a red. I've had a couple of goals chalked off as well, both for St Mirren. Dowu curled a beauty in off the post after 21 minutes, but he was marginally offside, and then there was an own goal scored by Harry Milne, but again Dowu had been offside in the build up to that one, so that's why it's still 0-0. We've got a minute left of the opening 45, plus I think about 3 minutes additional time are going to be played here, as the ball's out for a St Mirren throw-in over on the far side. Freckleton preparing to take it, and back the way it goes to Richard King. Richard King closed down well there, but it breaks back to Shamal George, who quickly bowls it out to Smith, who's under pressure. He's lost it. It's Kiziridis, denied by Shamal George. Braga on the rebound. George saves again. Well, Oisin Smith, on his return to the St Mirren starting lineup, was half sleeping there. He was absolutely pickpocketed by Kiziridis on the edge of his own box, and but for Shamal George, Hearts would be in front.
I tell you, Kiziridis goes down, Smith's off. He's off the park, but he does it. He stays on. It's a really good save by the keeper, but you're right, Smythe, he's just dilly-dallying on the ball, takes a touch, it's robbed off him, and Kiziridis is really unlucky.
And he'll take this corner kick on the left-hand side. Fires it in near post this time, breaks out to the edge of the box for Spittle. Spittle blocked by Phillips, comes back to his time ender, deflected and straight into the gloves of Shamal George. Fortunately for him, he immediately launches it long for Idowu. Idowu up against Steinwender, he's clipped there by the St Mirren man, and although he'll continue, it will be a free kick to Hearts for the challenge of Idowu and Steinwender. And,
I don't get why the referee doesn't blow up there, and he allows that challenge to happen with Devlin. It's a foul, just blow up. You don't see the game through, it's a foul. And then now he's having a go at Devlin. I'm sure Devlin's having a go at him for no blowing up.
Yeah, well, there have been a few contentious moments in this first half.
But I've got to say that, but our first thoughts on the Beningame challenge, it was a red, Alistair. That was both our initial thoughts. 14 minutes in, as you rightly said. Like to see it again, but straight away we both thought it was a nasty challenge.
Craig Gordon then to take this free kick midway inside his own half, still goalless into stoppage time here at Tynecastle between the league leaders and 10th place St Mirren. As the ball bounces about in the middle of the park, neither side able to bring it under control. It's getting a little bit heated here, and Phillips has been pushed by a couple of Hearts players. There's going to be a St Mirren free kick. Kevin Clancy he's got to sort things out here before half time. I think the half time whistle will probably come at a good time for him, because it is threatening to boil over as both sides somewhat lose the rag. Kevin Clancy wants a word with a couple of players here, Braga being one of them. Killian Phillips is also being called back.
Fiery character, Phillips.
Yeah, no shrinking violet.
Yeah.
It will be a St Mirren free kick, ultimately about 10 yards inside their own half. A couple of minutes of stoppage time have been played. Shamal George preparing to send this free kick long. George into the edge of the penalty area. Halkett gets his head to it, great header. Smith volleys it back into the air, comes to Mandron, that's blocked by Halkett as well. High up in the air by Spittle, brilliant defending by Craig Halkett, not for the first time this season. Smith gets it back into the area. Harry Milne's got time here, he can send it down the left hand side, and then knocked out of play by Braga, out for a St Mirren throw-in as half time approaches. Idowu, there's a check here. There's a check for something. Idowu's been told he's going to have to take the throw in again, or St Mirren are going to have to take it again.
No.
After the check, no idea what that's for.
And I think that's a frustrating thing. You can hear the fans, both sets of fans don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I didn't see anything that looked worthy of a check, but you don't always notice everything. Anyway, it was quickly waved on. Here's St Mirren with perhaps the last attack of the first half. Well, boos ring round Tynecastle at half time. I'm assuming they're directed at the referee, although it's somewhat unclear, but it's 0-0 at half time. That only tells half the story. Benny Beningame red carded after 14 minutes after a review, upgraded from a yellow for a lunging challenge on Idowu, who then had the ball in the back of the net. A wonderful effort, you'd have to say, but chalked off for an offside against Idowu. There's another one in the back of the net off Harry Milne into his own net, but again Idowu had been offside in the build-up, and just in the stroke of half-time, Kizarides nicking the ball off Oisin Smith at the edge of the St Mirren area, but denied by Shamal George, as was Claudio Braga on the follow-up, and that's why at half-time the scoreline reads Hearts 0, St Mirren 0.
This is Sports Sound
from BBC Radio Scotland.
What makes Radio Scotland Breakfast different?
For starters, our programme is made here in Scotland.
Every day you can have your say. Send us a message, a voice note on the topics which matter to you.
And if you want to have your say on the lighter things in life, well, that's okay too.
But what really makes every day different is the news. It's fast-paced, constantly changing, and we'll bring it to you in depth every morning.
Join Martin Geisler and Laura McKeever for Radio Scotland Breakfast. Listen tomorrow morning from 6 on BBC Radio Scotland and Sounds.
You're listening to Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland. 2 games in the top flight this evening, as we were just hearing. Goal is through at Tynecastle. Hearts 0, St Mirren 0. Hearts down to 10 men. Benny Beningame sent off there fairly early on. Here at the Falkirk Stadium, Falkirk 0, Celtic 1. John Collins. It's actually been a really exciting game to watch. Celtic very fast out the traps. Falkirk then took control, and a couple of big chances you felt at the time they may pay for these. One maybe glaring miss, you'd say, when he cut him to the right hand side, and Celtic, of course, as champions do, get themselves in front.
Yeah, John McGlynn will be sitting in that dressing room, and he'll be delighted with the overall performance. They've had more shots than Celtic, more shots on target. They've had lots of possession. They've caused Celtic real problems, and no real problems with booting the ball at the park, with good controlled passing movement football. And they're really unlucky to go in 1-0 down. Celtic haven't really created final third. They've had little bits here and there, but in general play, the Falkirk defence has held tight, not looked under too much stress. But again, it's all the credit goes to, for me, to John McGlynn. He's got these players that have cost absolutely nothing. They've not been at any big clubs, done nothing, and they're playing against the champions of Scotland with no fear whatsoever. That's all down to the manager, the way he works them in the training pitch, the way he sets them up for games. I see so many teams playing against Celtic, parking the bus, going on from kick-off, the mindset, don't lose an early goal, don't lose a goal. He's the exact opposite, John McGlynn. He's saying, let's put Celtic under pressure, let's go and try and score, let's try and stress him, let's try and get them chasing the ball, let's us have possession. And you can see, I'm watching these players on this pitch, they're enjoying it, they're playing with a freedom and energy. It's a joy to see, and a lot of them are young Scottish players, which is nice. Celtic, Martin O'Neill will be sitting in that dressing room with Sean Moore, they'll be scratching their head a little bit. They looked vulnerable, they could have been goals down, but they're 1-0 up. Martin's a good manager, but he's got a little bit of luck as well, and it's always a nice thing to have as a manager, a little bit of luck. But 45 minutes, a lot of football to be played here. Second half.
They're a very good watch, you'd have to say, Falkirk, Tony. As I said, Celtic started brightly, they were in control first 10 minutes or so. What changed in the game? What allowed Falkirk to have the momentum?
I think Falkirk just gained a bit of control, and the control and keeping possession of football gives you confidence as a player, and you could see the confidence building in the team, and I've got to say that the synergy, the energy of the crowd, helped them grow into the game, and they really did start dominating the game, and I think the midfield three at the upper hand, I thought they negated tactically the threat of McGregor controlling the game, and again, like John, I think it's all credit to John McGlynn, because you look at the team selection, it's obviously they played the boy Wilson on that side to really get at Tierney with his pace. And they've done it, in wide areas. Calvin Miller on the other side's done well, but it's because they've had control of the ball in the middle of the pitch, because their midfield have dominated that area. And I think, they did create the Barney Stewart. I think was the biggest chance for me with his 1-on-1 with Schmeichel. And you're right in saying that you need to take these chances when you're not, you get the upper hand against the Old Firm or the better teams. You need to take your opportunities, and they've never done that. But listen, I think you also need to credit Celtic. That they've weathered that storm. They were getting outplayed with Falkirk, but they've found a way, and goals win you games, and they found a way, and it was an obvious tactic, that set play with the delivery angles that they were putting it in on top of the goalkeeper and surrounding the goalkeeper, and Nygren pops up with that header, and ultimately it's 1-0 to Celtic, regardless of the balance of play being in favour of Falkirk.
Who do you like in the Falkirk team, John? Lee mentioned in commentary that Calvin Miller looked very much like a player with a point to prove tonight. I felt he's been electric. Tony mentioned Wilson as well on the right hand side. I've also been really impressed with Brad Spencer, very composed on the ball, a good player, isn't he? Steady, solid. I
think it's been a team performance from Falkirk's point of view. The full-backs have done well against Celtic's wingers. Celtic's wingers tore Dundee United apart at the weekend. Yang's really struggled to get the better of McCann down this our right hand side, their left hand side. But giving them lots of credit in possession, but they've got to have enormous credit for out of possession, the work rate. They get back into nice compact units. There's not big gaps between them. Their wingers are getting back and doubling up and helping their fullbacks. That's such an important part of the game as well. Without the ball, they've been good with the ball, without the ball. Can they do it for 90 minutes? Will they tire? I don't think so. I think it's going to go right to the wire, this game.
What does Martin O'Neill then do? Because they have got themselves in front right in the stroke of half-time. Nygren at the back post on that corner kick, Tony. How does he approach the second period of the game? Will he be looking at any changes, you think?
I always think Celtic, whenever you play against Celtic, the most dangerous spells that first 10 minutes. after the first half, particularly when you've done well. You know, there's a wee bit of backslap and saying keep it going lads, keep it in, and Celtic get at you, and they win a lot of games in the first 10 minutes. So I think that's what Martin and Sean's instruction will be, the way they started the first half. They start the game, they start the second half in the exact same manner. And yeah, they've got really good substitutes they bring on, you know, and Hattati and McCowan and Kenny, loads of quality bring on, but I think they'll be looking to really get at Falkirk, and I think a second goal, you know, again against the run of play would make it really difficult for Falkirk.
Yeah, so Falkirk 0, Celtic 1, Negrin with a goal right on the stroke of half time. Just a reminder at Tynecastle, Hearts 0, St Mirren 0. Alan Preston's there for us alongside Al Lamont. A real setback for Derek McInnes early on, Alan, with the Beningame challenge. He said he saw it right away and felt it was the correct decision from the match officials. What's been working for St Mirren tonight? Sounds like they've had a couple of big chances in the game.
They had the ball in the net twice, Kenny, but twice it was offside, so they've not done enough for me. Hearts have had actually the better of the chances, they really have. Braga's been through, Kizaridis has nicked one of his smiles late on and he was through. Shanklin's had an effort, Braga had another effort at the front post. Hearts have played well. St Mirren, when you're playing against 10 men, you need width in your team. Right on, chalk on your boots, both sides. St Mirren can afford to play 4 up front. So it'll be interesting to see what Stevie Robinson does. 100% a red card, we said it in commentary, we felt it right away. It's when a ball's played into Benny Beningame and he takes a heavy touch and he loses it and he's desperate and he lunges. As soon as you do that, you put yourself under pressure. He's clearly got to do with the St Mirren player, and we knew right away, we just thought it was a red straight away. The referee gave a yellow, went over to look at it on the screen and then upgraded that to a red. It's the right decision. But Hearts have played well. St Mirren can do more, and they've got a wonderful opportunity here to St Mirren against 10 men since the 14th minute to go and try and get 3 points. A much needed 3 points for St Mirren, it has to be said. But Hearts are very much in the game, Kenny. This isn't over yet.
Yeah, do you think Derek McInnes would settle for a point now, Alan, or by the sounds that they're still very much in the game? You think he would?
No, I think he would. I think he'd take a point now. You know, you're looking at 10 men for what, 75, 76 minutes. It's a big ask, even the second 45 to go and do it again. I thought he might have made a change and brought on a defender right away, maybe take Braga off as he did, bring Kent on, someone like that, shore it up at the back, but he's not. He's kept the same 9 outfield players since Beningame's been sent off. But it's we'll wait and see what he does in the second half. But the challenge from Beningame is horrific. It really is. It catches the duo on the knee, the left knee. I don't know, if I'm being brutally honest, we've seen it from where we are at the back of the wheat field. I don't know how the referee doesn't see it first time out. I really don't. How he gives them a yellow card is absolutely beyond me.
Yes, the full second half commentary to come from the game at Tynecastle. They're a few minutes behind us here just because of the extra time played at the end of the first half. So the teams are back out here at the Falkirk Stadium. Falkirk 0, Celtic 1, Negrin with a goal right on the stroke of half time. So back to our commentary team of Tony Docherty, John Collins and Liam McLeod.
Thanks, Kenny. Celtic unbeaten in the last 15 meetings with Falkirk. And I mentioned in the first half the Bairns have only beaten them once since they beat them in the semi-finals of the Scottish Cup in '97 after a replay at Ibrox. The Bairns going on to lose that final to Kilmarnock. And the Bairns, actually, their last 5 wins over Celtic have come at 4 different venues. 2 at Brockville, 1 here, 1 at Hampden in a league game when Celtic were playing there in '94-95, and 1 at Ibrox in that semi-final I just mentioned. And Falkirk's good run, they won their last 2. They've won 3 of their last 4, is under pressure despite that excellent first half performance. Missed 4 huge opportunities as the hosts kick off, going left to right, the navy blue and white with red socks, Celtic in the green and white hoops. So Falkirk shooting towards the Kevin McAllister stand, Celtic shooting towards the north stand, half of which is with their visiting support behind them. 7,730 inside the stadium tonight. No changes for either team at the start of the second half as Celtic pick up a free kick midway inside their own half. Left to centre, Bain in goal for them. They've got Lisa, Allen, Henderson, McCann, Spencer, Tate, Miller, Yates, Wilson and Stewart. Celtic, Schmeichel, Arojo, Trusty, Scales, Tierney, Engels, McGregor, Negrin, Yang, Tenekti, Maida. And it's Negren's goal that separates the teams, his 12th of the season. And it's Celtic in possession. Just have a look down there. It looks as though Sean Murdoch has taken over refereeing duties. John Beaton was the ref in the first half. He's now gone to fourth official. He's picked up a knock or an injury, so he's been replaced by Sean Murdoch, former footballer Sean Murdoch, who's taken on refereeing duties recently. So he has stepped up and takes charge of the second half as Trusty picks up and squares it to Scales, who moves it out to Tierney.
I did think that it looked like John had lost a wee bit of weight, to be honest, running about the middle there, but yeah, it's obviously different.
He's done his hammy, apparently. That's what we're hearing. Anyway, he's also, Sean Murdoch, a bit taller than John Beaton, as Lisa picks up on this near side and rolls it back to Bain. I guess from John McGlynn's point of view, as Bain clears under pressure from Daisen Maida, it will be his team trying to kick on where they left off. But here's Maida getting it from Nygren in the box, rolling it back to Engels. It's behind him though, and that allows Finn Yates to come away, and he's charging up towards the halfway line. He's got options two ahead of him. Couldn't quite work it through to Stewart. It's cut out and Celtic come away. Kind of lost his way a little bit, Finn Yates there. He got himself into a decent position as Celtic come forward. Tenecti, left hand side of the box. Nygren back towards Maida at the penalty spot, but it breaks the way of Leon McCann. And he's able to get it clear over on that left hand side.
That's when
he turns back towards
Maida lets you down in the box, those tight areas. It's a nice simple 3-yard pass to set a teammate up for a shot on target, and he's just misdirected a 3-yard pass.
Yeah, I don't know
got to do better.
Whether it's the surface or not, but that was a real opportunity for Celtic there. I think you're right. I think they've got to do better there, but just don't know whether it gets caught up in the surface or not. I don't know.
I was just going to say, John, that for John McGlynn, he'll just want his team to go out there and perform as they did in the first half.
Exactly the same. In possession, everybody make themselves available for a pass, running off the ball, out of possession, get back nice and compact, help your teammates out, especially in the wide areas.
Let you know when things get back underway at Tynecastle, and Brian McLaughlin's our reporter, will keep us up to date with that throughout the second half of that one. But as Kenny was saying, they're a good few minutes behind because of the red card, and there was no stoppage time at all here, and there was the VAR checks in Edinburgh as well, as Tenecti picks up at the left angle of the box, cuts onto his right, goes for goal. It's over the bar from distance, and that will be a goal kick to Falkirk, and will stay 1-0 to Celtic.
Tenecti gets into those positions so often. He gets the space in a good position, and the amount of times he never hits the target. If I was his coach, he would not be getting afternoons off. He'd be in for shooting every single afternoon until he can hit the target. So frustrating.
You're right, the amount of times you see there's Tenecti cutting in field at the edge of the box and letting fly, and he never seems to test the goalkeeper. And he's got a couple of goals in his Celtic career. He's just back from AFCON, where he was playing for Tunisia, featured in their 3 group matches.
It's not like in our day when we used to come back here at Brockville. It was like divots and mud everywhere. Look, nice smooth surface, there's no excuses.
It was as authentic in the stands.
Welcome back to Tynecastle as the teams emerge for the second half. And myself, Alistair Lamont, alongside me is Alan Preston watching on, and 0-0 at half time, but plenty of drama in the first period. A red card for Benny Beringamy, and I have to say, having seen that challenge back, to echo what Alan said, it's remarkable that Kevin Clancy didn't see it as a red first off, but on watching it, it was a lot worse than even I had thought it was on initial viewing. But certainly the correct decision was arrived at. St Mirren with a couple of goals chopped off. Hearts with a couple of big chances as well to score, but no goals as yet. No changes either to the starting lineups beyond the dismissal of Beringamy. So St Mirren to get us underway, going from right to left at the start of this second half, and Phillips plays it all the way back to Shamal George, and it's flicked on immediately by Mandron. Steinvender and Idowu contesting possession inside the Hearts penalty area, and Idowu gets his shot off, but I think it had gone behind.
The linesman's got his flag on the far side.
It had gone behind for a goal kick, but again, the Hearts players are furious, the Hearts fans are furious. I didn't hear the whistle, I have to say, either, but
the referee gets told, he's got, he gets told by his assistant the ball's out, the flag's up, but play goes on. It's been an indifferent performance from the referee, I would say. with the help of VAR, if we've not had VAR,
Yeah.
Birmingham's on a yellow card, which would have been a disgrace.
Yeah, no, indeed. Craig Gordon takes the goal kick, won by Gogic in the air. Idowu has had a decent game up front alongside Mandron. Challenged well by Finlay though, and it's out for a throw-in to St Mirren. It'll be interesting to see. Alan can maybe try and keep an eye on if there's been any tactical tweaks from either side as one looks to exploit having an extra man, the other looks to cope with having a man down. As Fraser has it on the right hand side for St Mirren, back in field to King, and now Freckleton on the halfway line. Good ball forward for Smith. Smith tries to squeeze it through for Phillips, couldn't quite get it there. Smith's giving it straight to Braga. Smith, I thought he had a decent first half on his comeback for St Mirren, having played the first half of the season at Partick Thistle, but he was almost guilty of an awful error right on the stroke of half time as Milne comes forward and does initially very well, but then can't get the cross into the middle, fires it straight behind instead. Smith almost giving up he did give up a golden chance to Kizaridis, who was then denied by Shamal George.
It looks like the same, both sides have came out the same. Hearts have still got the same sort of shape that they had. Braga on the left, Kizaridis on the right, Lawrence Shanklin up through the middle.
Yeah, it's a 4-2-3 effectively from Hearts, isn't it?
It's a big 45 minutes and a tough one for them as well.
Well, Alan, you were reminding me pre-match of Derek McInnes's very proud record as a manager at home against St Mirren. For any club that he's managed, he has never lost to St Mirren, but that will be tested in this second half. But Braga's done well to win it back for Hearts again. They've got 3-on-3 here. Braga leading the charge, now out to the right to Kizaridis, up against Freckleton, challenged fairly in the referee's view there as St Mirren emerge, and then Devlin knocks it out of play. It'll be a St Mirren throw-in, and Kizaridis has stayed down, and the referee will have to check on him before play can resume. But I think there's more to come from this game, isn't there? There's a little bit of a kind of a powder keg, might be over-egging it somewhat, but there's definitely a kind of tension out there between the sets of players, and the fans are obviously quite aggrieved for the most part as well.
Yeah, there's a little bit of needle in the game, which you like to see. You know, it's certainly up for grabs. It's either side can win this. Hearts are not out it, albeit they're down to 10 men. St Mirren, I think Phillips is the one for me. That if Phillips, he runs off the back of Devlin, he'll go in between Halkett and Steinvender. As you can see, Devlin just needs to open his shoulders up and find where he is, because he'll be the one that will make runs beyond and in behind, and cause Hearts all sorts of concern in there.
St Mirren have it. 48 minutes played, no goals. It's Richard King down the right hand side for Fraser. He's dispossessed though, and by Braga. Braga's done well. Across comes Gogic, brings him to the ground. Hearts free kick again. That is the sound of the Hearts fans baying for a yellow card for Alex Gogic.
No, not for me. It's a foul. It's a foul. It's as simple as that. It's good play by Braga. It's a nutmeg and he gets away, and Gogic, it's a shoulder to shoulder. It's more physical than him, but it's not a yellow card.
18,490 inside Tynecastle for this one, and it's been an interesting watch certainly, but the Hearts fans will clearly love to see either side being able to get their noses in front, and then just, you would imagine, just a defensive action beyond that to try and see it out. Because a point at home to St Mirren, with the greatest of respect, is probably not what they were looking for at the start of the evening.
No, but they take it now, bite your hand off now for it.
Do you think?
Yeah, I think that what they say to Derek, you know, he's been very positive. He's stuck with his front three as well. You know, and you can hear the crowd starting to take part of it. St Mirren, for me, just need to up the pace. They need to play at a level that 10-man Hearts can't handle, and at the moment they're not.
Here's Smith finding a bit of space again in the middle of the park, forward for Idowu in the angle of the box. Just sold Declan John short there, allowed Steinvender to make the sliding challenge and knock the ball out of play. It's a throw into St Mirren in line with the 18-yard box on the left hand side.
Would you not think it's a missed opportunity for St Mirren if they don't win the game?
Sure, yeah, absolutely. but equally, you know, Hearts going for the title, you know, I think it's not beyond them certainly to get the victory. We've seen already they're going to have chances still. Throw-ins taken short, now it's thrown into the penalty area, but nodded rather tamely behind by McMenamin, and will be a goal kick to Hearts. Yeah, I think you're right, Alan. It could still go either way. It's very difficult to call.
It is. It's you know, it's a 50-50 game at the moment. You would have thought if Hearts were to 11, they would have the slightly better, you would think, opportunity to go and win the game. It's not. They're a man down, deservedly so. But I just don't think St Mirren at the moment are doing enough.
Craig Gordon with the goal kick here then on his first start of the season. Be interesting to see if he starts the cup match as well. We would have thought that, all things being equal, he would have probably started that game, but I just wonder, with the big game against Celtic in the league to follow that, whether Derek McInnes will want to see Alexander Swallow back in action ahead of that. So
yeah, it's a tough one. It's a really nice problem to have. You know, Swallow's done brilliant, but when he gets sent off, you can look to your bench and bring on Scotland's number one for me.
The Hearts have got themselves a free kick just inside the St Mirren half, and they're going to throw the big lads forward from the back, Halkett and Kingsley, who both got plenty goals between them this season. 6 for Halkett, 5 for Finlay, to aid the title cause, as Milne prepares to swing it in from the left hand side. It's a low ball, it comes to the feet of Braga at the edge of the box. Braga takes it back out to the left to Milne. Milne with another low ball in, not his best delivery. This time he gets it back and plays it short into Devlin. Was he fouled from behind? No, but it does break to Braga at the edge of the box. Finlay for Spittle, then Shanklin tried to work it back the way, but St Mirren cut that out, and now almost able to get away in the counter attack. They're taking a quick throw in, but it's surely a Hearts ball. Well, that's chancing it, I'd have to say. And Hearts will get the throw in eventually. Derek McInnes out at the edge of his technical area, gesticulating, not happy with that, as Hearts now will get the throw in. 53 minutes in, no goals. 1-0 Celtic still lead at Falkirk Stadium, as Harry Milne prepares to take this throw, and down the left it goes, but no Hearts player able to latch onto it, and so Marcus Fraser sees it behind for a goal kick. Could do with a goal, certainly, one way or the other, just to brighten it up somewhat.
It's not been dull.
No.
There's been a lot of challenges in the middle of the park. Tactically, it's been really good to watch, to see how these managers, both managers, go about it. Hearts dropping down to 10 men. Stephen Robinson can afford to throw one more forward. That one's Phillips. You can see him again. He's in behind Spittle. He makes a run. What King doesn't do for Freckleton as well, they don't look for that long ball for Phillips. He's the one that's free and makes the run.
Here comes Harry Milne forward for Hearts. Hearts getting bodies into the penalty area. It's Harry Milne just behind Shankler. He does gather it, gets out to Kiziriris inside the penalty area. He'll go for goal. It's deflected off Freckleton, and that wasn't all that far away from the target, and it is a Hearts corner.
And again, I've got to say, I think Hearts have had the better in the second half as well. So far, they've had the better chances in the match. St Mirren are just overplaying it. They get caught on the break there. It's really good play by Milne into Shanklin, out to Kiziridas, a deflected shot just over the top of the crossbar.
I'll tell you what, you were talking pre-match about the size and the significance of that victory at Dens Park. If Hearts could win this one, it would go down as every bit as important, and I imagine it would
be bigger.
It
would be bigger
because it was the next one, and
it's the next one, and it's also longer, and they weren't one up at the time.
Here's Spittle just outside the area, being forced back the way. Devlin. Hearts aren't particularly leaving too many players back. Could be open to the counter attack, as St Mirren do pump it up towards the halfway line. Manzon wins it, but then Shanklin comes back and wins it and gets it to Devlin, and Devlin goes all the way back to his goalkeeper Craig Gordon. 55 on the clock. Hearts 0, St Mirren 0. Hearts been down to 10 men for the bulk of the game, really. 14 minutes they played, 11 against 11, until Biringimi was ordered off. And here's Milne. Alan, you were rightly pointing out that Biringimi will miss that Celtic game, which is the next league game. In fact, do you know what? He'll miss the cup game.
The cup game, yeah, but league matches he'll miss.
Yeah.
Celtic and Dundee United.
Yeah. Here's Braga coming down the left. It's a brilliant ball. Shanklin denied by George. Oh, it's a really big save from Shamal George, because that was excellent from Braga, and then almost perfect from Shanklin as he stretched to try and knock it beyond Shamal George, but the big goalkeeper made himself as big as he possibly could and kept it out. 0-0.
That's wonderful play all round. Braga, great ball in. Shanklin's on the stretch. Shamal George making himself as big as he can. It's a wonderful opportunity, it really was. I think St Mirren are going to make a change, or a couple of changes.
Yes, indeed they are. So Colin McMenamin is being replaced by Malik Dyke-Steele, and that's Lundulu replacing Oisin Smith. So that feels pretty attacking to me from Stephen Robinson, who is probably also acknowledged what you were saying, Alan, that Hearts are, despite being down to 10 men, having the better of this second period, and needs to try and reverse that.
Yeah, and I think he has. He's thrown another forward on, and a strong forward at that. Good runner, as I said to you. Here we go for St Mirren.
Dyke-Steele for Idowu, left hand side of the box, takes a deflection. Mandron tries to help on in the near post, but Gordon gets down and smothers it inside his 6-yard box. And 57 minutes in, it's still Hearts 0, St Mirren 0.
Yeah, it's been fleeting attacks from St Mirren, and I think Stevie Robinson will be really frustrated, I think, with the performance of his team. You know, they can do better. We've seen it. They've won the League Cup. They're a much better side than they're showing.
Play over on the far side for a Hearts throw in, just in front of Derek McInnes in his technical area. So the first couple of changes made by St Mirren as they search for a goal or two that might give them a long-awaited away victory. As I mentioned, their only one this season has come at the Falkirk Stadium. That's not good enough as far as Stephen Robinson and his side are concerned. Devlin gets his head to the ball. It's over Kiziridis, nodded down by Freckleton for John, who just plays it between his legs and then moves away from Devlin. It's good play from the wing back. Now it's Dyke-Steele coming in field, taken down by Steinvender. It'll be a St Mirren free kick, and it's an opportunity here midway inside the Hearts half, but certainly a chance to put the ball into the box and use their aerial dominance, you would have to say, to try and threaten this Hearts backline.
Yeah, Hearts have got to be strong. Can they hold the 18-yard box? St Mirren, can they work? It's Declan John over the ball. He's got a lovely left foot, he really has. It's an opportunity here to bend one in. You'll be looking at in between the penalty spot and the 18-yard box.
Yeah, it's about 10 yards or so in from the left-hand side here. Declan John midway inside the Hearts half, and it comes. It's a poor ball, low ball that was dealt with by Shanklin, and now Kiziridis gets it to Braga, and Hearts will try to counter themselves. Braga just holds it up. St Mirren have flooded bodies back, and he has to come back the way to the halfway line to Devlin, but Hearts have survived what could and perhaps should have been a scary moment for them, but unfortunately for St Mirren, Declan John not living up to the big build up from Alan there, but he's certainly capable of a lot better delivery than he showed there.
That was a kiss of death, wasn't it? He has a really nice left foot, but Absolutely. It was a flat free kick, hit the first man.
Yeah, it was a poor one from the wing back. As here come Hearts. Braga at the edge of the penalty area. Freckleton's with him, gets it into Shanklin just inside the area. Kiziridis goes for goal, breaks back to Shanklin's opposite Mirren body. Shanklin can't make anything of it, and St Mirren clear it up to Mandron, who's quickly smothered, and Halkett emerges with possession. He and Devlin teaming up there to win it. Now it's Devlin from the edge of the box, tries to curl one towards goal, and that comes off King, but Hearts have won it once more. It's Kiziridis for Spittle inside the box, into the middle, it's a goal! Lawrence Shankland puts Hearts in front. 10-man Hearts get their noses in front here at Tynecastle. Oh, you can't say it's not been coming. Hearts have been excellent second half despite being down to 10 men, and Spittle picked out his captain, and he didn't need asking twice as he sent it into the far post. It's Hearts 1, St Mirren 0.
What a goal, brilliant play from Kiziridis. Spittle, Shanklin, the ball comes across. Who do you want to get at Shanklin? Now you think Derek McInnes, do you look at your bench? Do you bring on defenders? Got to maybe change it, try and be solid again. They've deserved it, Alistair. They've been the better side. Started the second half. They've had the chance. Casaridis over. They've had the Braga chance, and now that goal. It's a wonderful finish. What a goal.
Yeah, he passed one up just a few minutes ago, denied by a really good Shamal George save. He wasn't going to be denied on that occasion as he found the bottom corner.
Yeah, it would be, for me, it would be Frankie Kent for Braga for me now. If I know Derek McInnes as I do, they'll look to bring on and be more solid at the back if they can. But they've been, the 9 outfield players have been incredible.
Well, we shall not be moved to cry, but here's Lundulu at the other end and he skews it wildly. Still in play though. Phillips picks it up right hand side of the box. Good challenge by Braga to take it off him, and forward he comes down the left hand side, just runs it out of play. But Lawrence Shankland with his 14th goal of the season, his 11th in the Premiership, and he is still as deadly as ever in front of goal. And good play from Spittle to pick him out on that occasion. He had an opportunity in the first half to do that and he couldn't do it, but he did it to good effect this time as Dijksteel tries to test Hearts' Steinvender, claiming it came back off Dijksteel, but it's behind for a corner in the referee's opinion.
And there's a chance for St Mirren to load the box again. Again, I would be taking it short if I'm St Mirren. It brings 2 Hearts players out, leaves them even shorter in the box, but they're going to take this long.
Yeah, left hand side, it's Declan John. It'll be the outswinger with the left boot. As Lawrence Shankland has given these Hearts fans renewed energy, but that's a good ball. It's just wide from Alex Gogic. Rose highest at the edge of the 6-yard box. Arguably should be hitting the target from where he jumped, but agonisingly wide for St Mirren. Remains Hearts 1, St Mirren 0 after 62 minutes.
Yeah, it's a wonderful ball in. We're just talking about it. Lovely left foot, played in right on the spot. There's Gogic getting across his man. We're right behind it. That's about a foot wide, really close. But we've got to say, it's really the only chance I've had at the start of the second half.
Well, Tynecastle rocking once more. And Lawrence Shankland is the man who has got them on their feet. St Mirren play it forward. Halkett nods it back. But St Mirren pick up once more. Hearts tenacious though. Devlin gets it forward to Shankland, who will feed it into Casaridis. He plays it on to Braga now at the edge of the box. Tries to play it through the legs of Fraser. Fraser manages to recover and knocks it clear. Devlin's headed that straight to Phillips. Phillips pokes it forwards. And Joe gets it back to him on the halfway line, out to the left hand side for Declan John now. John on the left flank is Dijksteel. Dijksteel into the penalty area for Phillips. Phillips tries to squeeze it in at the near post but gets it all wrong and greeted with ironic cheers from the home fans, and it's still Hearts 1, St Mirren 0.
And I look at the penalty spot. There's the Hearts captain running all the way back 50-60 yards. It was great play with Braga and Casaridis. It really was up the other end. They've got such a really good partnership, but when you need your captain, you see him, he's running 50-60 yards. He's marking runners going back the pitch.
Well, these home fans are growing in belief with every passing match and every passing victory, and if they can secure victory tonight, as Alan said, it would be absolutely enormous. But still quite a bit to play with the 10 men, but they do have the 1 goal advantage to hold on to now. Still the change hasn't come from Derek McInnes, although I do see a couple of players getting stripped in the Hearts technical area, so something is imminent as Spittle goes down, gets a free kick under the challenge there. And Hearts will be just taking as much time as they possibly can over situations like this. Devlin rolls that away from Craig Gordon, so that just wastes another few seconds. I'm sure that didn't escape the attention of Kevin Clancy, the referee.
I think they want to make the changes. St Mirren are as well. I think Hearts have got McCart, I think it's Kabori as well, and possibly Magnuson want to come on. So the change, I think, for St Mirren is going to come first as
Alan Campbell comes on for Richard King. So again, it's a positive change.
Gogic will go back and play into that back three.
Yeah, that's exactly what it looks like. So on comes Alan Campbell, former Motherwell youth, who made his way down to England and did well for a few years. But
Luton Town?
Yeah, he was down at Luton initially, wasn't he? And he came back up to Dundee United, and it didn't really work out, I don't think, at Tannadice for him last season. But he's been without a club for the first few months of this season. St Mirren have handed him an opportunity, and he's on to try and take that this evening. Hearts still waiting to make their changes as St Mirren take a throw in. Phillips gets it out to the left hand side to John. Declan John up towards the halfway line, clips that over Steinvender, looking here for Dykesdale. He miscues it completely and behind for a goal kick. And St Mirren, you've really not done enough this evening to take advantage of the man advantage. So let's see these Hearts changes. Claudio Braga is off, and it'll be Kabori who comes on.
That's for him. Physical presence, a runner of strength up there. Kazaridas is going off as well. Magnuson will come on, give a bit more solidity, a bit more height as well in the middle of the park. And then I think it's Jamie McCart will be the last one.
Yeah, Blair Spittle making way for Jamie McCart. And as you say, Alan Kazaridas replaced.
What a player, Kazaridas, honestly. He's been magnificent again tonight. Braga the same.
So 3 changes.
We'll see where they go now. The Hearts will go to a back 3, which will be McCart, Finlay and Halkett. Mullen wing back, Steinvender wing back, Devlin and Magnuson in the middle of the park, Kabori, Shanklin up front.
And they've got, a quarter of the game to go with a 1-goal advantage, but down to 10 men. And Steinvender flicks it down the right hand side. Shanklin will chase, but it's out of play for a St Mirren throw-in. Still 1-0 Celtic lead at the Falkirk Stadium. Just about 15 minutes remaining in that one. It'd be a big victory for them if they can hold on to that as well. They certainly don't want Hearts extending their advantage any further on them, as the ball's played back to Shamal George, out to Gogic now. Forward it goes to Fraser, now into Spittle, still inside the St Mirren half. Freckleton up towards the halfway line, and now Phillips once more. St Mirren haven't stretched Hearts nearly enough, particularly in the second half. First half they were switching play pretty well and creating some opportunities as Campbell and Freckleton exchange passes here in the middle of the park. Hearts with everyone behind the ball. Campbell now gets it out to Fraser. Fraser has to go back to Gogic. Gogic back into Freckleton. Hearts working ever so hard, as they will have to do, you would imagine, for the final 20 minutes and more. Campbell brings it forward up towards the edge of the Hearts area, out to the right hand side now for Dykesdale, who's out on that right hand side. It's a decent ball in, but Steinvender clears it. Freckleton nods it down. Shanklin gets to it first, and there's Kabori joining him. Kabori tries to find Shanklin once more. Devlin, was he taken out there by Gogic? Yeah, that'll be a yellow card for Alex Gogic. Good play from Cammy Devlin in the middle of the park, and just wiped out by Alex Gogic, and Hearts get the free kick.
Again, Al, just something for you to look at as a commentator. Again, lunging for the ball, stretching, bad touch for Gogic. Foul, yellow card, nothing more than that, but it's what players do. When you take a heavy touch, you get desperate, you chase it. Yet another lunging challenge.
Yep. I think on that occasion didn't certainly catch him quite as high as Birmingham. He caught Idowu in the first half, so yellow card looked like the right call on that occasion. St Mirren looked to build in this left hand side. It's Dykesdale, but Steinvender's trying to get back at him. Dykesdale gets there first in the angle of the box, left hand side. Now Campbell into the area. It's beyond Lundulu. It's McCart that gets to it. St Mirren pick up once more though. trying to fashion an opportunity here. Idowu looking to get it into the box. He's one inside a corner, and just in front of the travelling band of St Mirren fans, about 1,000 of them, maybe a little bit less, over on that far corner. And St Mirren looking to get their way back onto level terms in this game.
Yeah, it'll be whipped in. Hearts of some of the bigger guys across. We're doing the right thing now though, St Mirren. 2 out.
And it's taken short.
Yeah, it's the right thing to do.
John gets it back once more. Devlin's out with him. Plays it to the edge of the area. St Mirren trying to work something here. It's Alan Campbell trying to dig out a shot, but too many bodies in front of him, and Devlin gets it clear and over the halfway line. Hearts not rushing out though, quite content to sit in as they did at Dens Park, inviting balls into their area because they go and defend them for all their worth. As Magnuson backs off against Dykesdale here, Dykesdale flashes it in. Halkett's there at the front post to deal with it, comes back out to Dykesdale, forces it back to Freckleton. Freckleton on the left foot here, try and swing it in, it comes back off Dykesdale. Now it's with Campbell. Campbell flights it towards the back post. Mandron will take it down on the chest, stumbles under a bit of pressure there from McCart, but not enough certainly to merit a spot kick. Devlin loses out as he tried to bring the ball forward, and St Mirren have it once more, and it's Idowu on the right hand side. Declan Jones unmarked at the back post, but Idowu can't get it through, but he does want his side on another corner.
Yeah, the pressure's mounting now, it really is.
Another corner out on that right hand side to be taken by Declan Jones. 72 played, still Hearts lead by a goal to nil, a goal scored by their captain Lawrence Shankland. And it could be a precious one.
If they can see this corner through, Alistair he has to bring on another defender. The pressure is mounting.
John swings it in back post, out comes Gordon. Good one-fisted punch there, gets good distance on it. Picked up on the left hand side once more by Dykesdale, who's seen plenty of the ball since coming on. Freckleton back to Idowu for Fraser at the edge of the centre circle, and now Campbell. Hearts continuing to keep players behind the ball. Forward for Declan John, who stayed forward in that right wing position, curls it in dangerously to the back post. A poor header from Dykesdale. His teammates at the edge of the 6-yard box. Mandron Lundulu furious that he didn't head it back across goal. He tried to go for goal and heads it weakly wide, and after 73 minutes it's still Hearts 1, St Mirren 0.
Yes, St Mirren piling on the pressure, but it's a really poor decision at the back post. Hearts make another change.
Yeah, and it is another defender in the shape of Frankie Kent, who will replace the captain and goal scorer and potential match winner Lawrence Shankland for the closing 16 and a half minutes here.
And there's your 5 centre halves in the back 5 now.
Yeah, that's what they had at the weekend, and that's what they'll have for the closing stages of this one as well, as on comes Frankie Kent, and so it will be probably a rear guard action for Hearts as they look to cling on once more for another precious victory and 3 points that would take them that little bit closer to the promised land of a first top flight title since 1960. Ball high in the air. Kabori's done well to force that back to Magnuson, and it's clipped forward. Kabori could be in here inside the penalty area. Fraser's with him, does just enough to get it to Freckleton, who in turn plays it to Gogic inside his own box. Gogic will just fire that forward up to Lundulu, who manages to just about hold on to it, but he's run it out of play. It's got to be a Hearts throw in, it will be. And Lundulu just bounces the ball away, and as McCart prepares to take the throw in. Interesting, it looks like he's gone and playing as the furthest. In fact, Harry Milne's further up the park, isn't he? Milne's gone beyond. Here is Harry Milne collecting the throw in and getting another one well up into St Mirren territory, which will again be taken by Jamie McCart. Still 1-0 here, still 1-0 to Celtic at the Falkirk Stadium, as McCart prepares to take this throw in about 10 yards away from the corner flag into the feet of Kabori, trying to make something of it. Well, Hearts thought that might have been a corner. Certainly Kabori's claiming for it. The referee thought otherwise, and St Mirren quickly take the goal kick. They are in urgent need of something from this game. as Declan John brings it into the Hearts half, and then leaves it to Campbell. Campbell back to Gogic on the halfway line. Now Phillips on the right hand side. Milne will come out to meet him, but Milne is definitely kind of playing a little bit more advanced from
it's virtually a back five, you can see it, and you've got Devlin, Milne and Magnuson in the middle. The Kabore is the one that's up front on his own.
Yeah, so across the back you've got McCart, Finlay, Halkett, Kent and Steinvender. You're right, there's the five, and Milne that little bit further forward in the midfield. 5-3-1 effectively as St Mirren try to find a way through it by playing the ball back and forward. Over on the right hand side it's Idowu's challenged by Milne. Throw in goes St Mirren's way. Quickly taken back to Phillips. And now Gogic on the halfway line. Do St Mirren have the nous and the guile to unpick this well organised Hearts back line? And not only are they well organised, they have such a desire to keep the ball out the back of the net, as they showed at Dens, and looking to do the same here again. 13.5 to play, 1-0 the lead as Idowu though finds Phillips inside the penalty area, tries to stab that goalwards. He's claiming it came off a Hearts hand. It has gone behind for a corner certainly. Don't think there was really anything in the penalty claim, and it will be another corner on the right hand side for St Mirren, who are looking for an equaliser here, and it is all St Mirren in terms of attacking just at the moment.
Yeah, it will be checked, but certainly he's asking him to hold it just now. It will be checked, but it looked like his hand was in a natural position. It's waved away.
Yeah, corner kick it will be then on the right hand side, to be taken by Declan John again, left footed. Again the referee wants to sort something out
it's
in
Phillips
the middle.
and Magnuson on the penalty spot.
Declan John will now be allowed to swing this in. In fact, he's gone short. Gets it back from Campbell. Then he sends it back post. Gogic rises, but Finlay beats him to it and heads it out on this near side for a St Mirren throw-in. The nerves of the Hearts fans will be shredded by the end of this.
There's a check again, I think, for a possible foul in the box.
Well, there's been all sorts of VAR checks tonight, hasn't there? But this latest one after the corner was swung in, again it's dismissed.
Alistair, the fans have not got a clue what's going on.
No, nor have we really. I mean, we were guessing that it was for something as the ball came in, but here's Freckleton. And now Phillips back to Freckleton, tries to find room for the cross here almost at the goal line. Now he swings in, it's a decent looking ball, header down the way from Mandron, but no St Mirren teammate there to latch onto it, and Hearts get it clear. It's Kabore right hand side, trying to bring it forward here. He's surrounded by black and white jerseys, challenged by John. There will be a Hearts throw in though, and he gets them a little bit further up the park. 1-0 Hearts continue to lead on 79 minutes.
And that's why he's on. He's a big strong lad, takes it for a run, 4 St Mirren players round him. Hearts get up beyond the halfway line.
Hearts throw in then on the right hand side to be taken by Steinvender. Down the right it goes, looking for Kabore. Freckleton at the back of him. Magnuson's picked up, Magnuson slips it to Milne. Milne with a chance, good save, header, goal! Magnuson makes it 2 to Hearts. What a story is unfolding this season at Tynecastle. What grit, what determination. And Thomas Brent Magnuson has put Hearts 2 in front with just over 10 to play. The 10 men are putting St Mirren to the sword. Hearts 2, St Mirren 0.
Wow, absolute wow. Derek McInnes and his substitutions again. Kabore's strong, he does well, knocks it Magnuson. The shot eventually comes in for Milne, goes up in the air, and Magnuson heads it into the back of the net. Incredible performance from Hearts, it really is. It's supersedes Sunday, Alistair, when they can see this through.
No, St Mirren immediately going to make a change here as Marcus Fraser goes off, and Jaden Richardson will come on. But this is quite phenomenal from Hearts, you have to say. You have to give them so much credit. With 10 men from 14 minutes in, not only have they kept St Mirren out, they have gone and scored 2 goals themselves Harry Milne denied by a good stop from Shamal George, but he was on the ground, could do nothing as Magnuson rose to head in the rebound. And with 10 to play, it's Hearts 2, St Mirren 0, and Hearts heading 6 points clear at the top of the Premiership.
There's still plenty of time to go. Plenty of time. What's under 10 minutes plus what added on. But I've got to say, the atmosphere's been better tonight as well. It really has, and the players have performed. The players deserve a good atmosphere, Alistair, because the performance they've played. But if you're Stevie Robinson, you must be wondering what is going on. They've been brilliant St Mirren early part of the season, winning the cup, but they've just not been themselves. Since they've won the cup, they've switched off.
Thomas Bent Magnuson with his second Hearts goal, and it could be the one that helps secure the 3 points. And it has been a phenomenal display here from Hearts to grind this out, and in truth they have deserved it on the balance of play. They've created the better chances despite having a man fewer. Here's Milne at the edge of the box again for Hearts. Goes back the way to McCart. McCart digs it forward looking for Kabori. Kabori will chase but won't catch it, and it's out for a St Mirren goal kick. We're at 82 minutes now, and it's Hearts 2, St Mirren 0.
It's quite the performance. It really is.
Still,
I expected when Hearts went down to 10 men. Honestly, I thought St Mirren take a grip of the game, more possession, more shots, more chances. It's just not materialised like that.
Still 1-0 Celtic at the Falkirk Stadium, the closing minutes there. That'll be an important victory again for Martin O'Neill if they can hold on to that. 2-0 low Hearts lead here. The league leaders already on their best start to the season since 91-92, when ultimately they finished second to Rangers. But this is their best start to the season in the 3 points for a win era, and it is continuing tonight unless St Mirren can mount a dramatic comeback. As Kabori picks up just outside his own box, goes down looking for a free kick, and he gets it.
Really good play by Kabori, and that's why he's on. I think Derek again tonight has got his substitutes bang on. He's brought them on at the right times. He might have thought when Benny Beningame sent off in 14 minutes, do I take off a striker, bring on a defender? No, he stuck with the outfield 9, got there until about an hour, then started making changes.
Craig Gordon well out of his area here to take the free kick. But no great hurry. 6.5 minutes left of the 90. Don't think we'll have too much in the way of added on time at the end of this second half, as Gordon goes long. Too long, I think, for Kabori. Yep. Gogic sees that ball behind, and it will be a goal kick to St Mirren once more. But Stephen Robinson will again rue a missed opportunity here this evening to end their poor away record. This will be 7 games away from home without a victory in the league. As Declan John has it now out to Dykesdale and back to Freckleton. Freckleton coming up towards the edge of the box, back with Dykesdale left hand side, teases it into the area. Kent gets it clear though. Kabori has it. Kabori now just waits for the contact here from Campbell.
That's a foul.
He's got the foul, yeah. I wasn't sure about that one. I think there was, just enough of a pull there from Campbell, and Kabori does buy the free kick. And Hearts again will just take as long as they possibly can over this as they search for a 7th win in the last 8 against St Mirren in the top flight here. They've won 17 in the last 21 actually. It's not a happy hunting ground for St Mirren. Craig Gordon again over the free kick.
They'll just be dinked up. They'll try and find Kabori wide right if they can on Declan John. Craig will just play it up. He'll try and win it and get some support.
Kabori chases it down on the right hand side, plays it infield. He's done really well to squeeze that into Devlin. Devlin tries to return it to him but gets that all wrong. Tries to play it with the outside of the right boot and just hit it straight instead. Goal kick.
There'll be changes for Hearts on Saturday against Falkirk. Devlin and Steinven are suspended after the red cards in the semis last year.
This is true. So Devlin will get a rest, which he's probably earned with his endeavour over the course of the season so far. Got to be in the mind of the Australia manager for the World Cup squad on the form he's been on. As Phillips has it now for St Mirren. They've got just over 4 minutes of the 90 to find a couple of goals. Craig Gordon has been relatively untroubled on his return to the Hearts starting lineup. Here's Dykesdale left hand side, can't get it beyond Steinvender, and then he tries to play it back and he completely miscues it with his right foot, and that's just so poor from St Mirren.
I think it sums St Mirren up, to be honest. You know, when lacking quality on demand when you need it, that's just really slack.
You can hear what the Hearts fans think. They sense that something special is brewing under Derek McInnes. As McCart turns it back to Craig Gordon, first time up towards the halfway line. Gogic is there now wearing the armband in Fraser's absence, holds off Kabori and plays it to John. Infield to Freckleton. Celtic well into injury time, still leading by a goal to nil at Falkirk. 2-0 here for Hearts as we approach injury time ourselves. Dykesdale back the way to the halfway line to Freckleton. Now it's Phillips looking for options, but even against a man down they can't really find much space. Hearts well organised, everyone behind the ball once more, out to Adowu right hand side. Back he comes once more to Phillips, still 10 yards just inside the Hearts half. Now he clips it forward but onto the head of Finlay. It's meat and drink for those Hearts centre backs, strung across the back line there. 2.5 minutes of the 90 left. Hearts 2, St Mirren 0. It would go down as a really momentous victory, this, given the circumstances. As Phillips has it again, tries to dink it forward, looking for Mandron tries to nod it back into the danger area, but they've just been short of ideas, really, St Mirren, haven't they? They just haven't found a way to prise this defence open.
So disappointed in St Mirren, I really have been. They've played safe, they've not played any penetrating passes, they've not looked forward enough. For me, it's all been safe, and you know what happens when you've got a team that's short of confidence? You look for the safe pass, you don't play the one that might get you in, you don't play that forward pass, you'll go sideways and backwards. And if I'm Stevie Robinson, I'm concerned because they're 4 ahead of Kilmarnock. Kilmarnock, the new manager, bounce. They'll be hoping that Neil McCann and Bullock can go and do a job in there. But St Mirren are certainly in a battle now to stay in the league.
It's beginning to feel that way, isn't it? As Shamal George picks up the ball and throws it out to Declan John. 90 seconds remaining of the 90 minutes. Maybe 2 or 3 to be added on beyond that, as Gogic has it on the halfway line. St Mirren haven't particularly looked like scoring in this second half. Hearts have managed to get 2 through Shanklin and Magnuson. Here comes St Mirren down the right hand side now. It's Adowu on the right flank in towards the penalty area, up against McCart here. Fires into the near post and Gordon has to get down at his near post. I thought Gordon punched that behind, but maybe it was already behind before he got there.
Does it hit the post?
Maybe it does, yeah, rather than the fist of Gordon. That's possibly what happened. I think it's going to be 4 minutes actually added on here. The Hearts fans didn't want it to be as big a number as that, but in all honesty, they've looked comfortable, especially since they got themselves in front through Lawrence Shankland.
I've got to say it's one of the best performances I've seen at Tynecastle for many a year.
Craig Gordon then launches the goal kick forward. Harry Milne goes up and challenges with Gogic, and it breaks for Magnuson in the middle of the park, having his ankles clipped there by Campbell. Keeps the ball though and then gets it to Devlin, who in turn plays it out to the right hand side to Steinvender. Back into Devlin, he's lost it to Dykesdale, up to Lundulu, but he loses out in the middle of the park, and Milne plays it forward to Kabori now coming forwards. Doesn't have too much in the way of support, but he'll just play it out to the left hand side for McCart back into Kabori, left hand side. Can't get the better there of Jayden Richardson. and St Mirren have it back. 4 minutes added on and 4 minutes have begun. Deep into stoppage time at the Falkirk Stadium. Still Celtic leading by a goal to nil. Declan John on the left hand side to Dykesdale. Dykesdale up towards the edge of the box here, up against Steinwender. Back to John. John with another pretty poor cross, breaks the back to Richardson, out to Dowu, who's offside. The flag goes up early this time, and it will be a free kick to Hearts just on the edge of their own box. We're into the first minute of stoppage time, and it's still Hearts 2, St Mirren 0.
Yeah, it's been comfortable. Craig Gordon's not had to make save after save after save. Derek will try and waste time again. I don't think there's any more centre halves left. Can he bring on Craig Levine, Dave McPherson, somebody like that? It's been an unbelievable performance from him, and you've got to give the manager and his staff all the credit. They've been magnificent.
Celtic have won by a goal to nil. Benji Nugren with the crucial goal just before half time away to Falkirk, so that takes them level with Rangers on points, and they'll remain 6 behind the league leaders though. Hearts still in charge at the top as Devlin goes down here just to buy another few seconds, you would imagine.
I think he's been caught in the calf. I think it's by Gogic. I think he got caught.
Yeah, the physio's coming on, certainly, as Alan says. Cammy Devlin will sit out the game here at the weekend in the Scottish Cup against Falkirk because of a suspension, red carded of course in that disappointing semi-final defeat against Aberdeen, so he'll get a rest anyway, but just getting a bit of treatment here in the final couple of moments of injury time. Hearts leading by 2-0.
I think it would be, if he's going to come off, it would be Altena that would come on, Devlin off, to try and see the game through.
Yeah, welcome to listeners who have been tuned into Falkirk against Celtic. Celtic with that victory, but it's Hearts who have managed to dig deep and surely earn themselves another 3 points against the odds, perhaps, having been down to 10 from the 14th minute onwards when Benny Beningame was red carded. But second half goals scored by Lauren Shankland and Thomas Bent Magnuson put the league leaders in charge here, and St Mirren have barely been able to muster a shot worthy of the name on goal in the second period to trouble Craig Gordon, and so well into stoppage time Derek McInnes' side lead by 2-0 as Devlin does limp off here, and he is going to be replaced for these closing moments.
He's been sensational again, Cammy Devlin. Absolutely, there's not been a failure in the Hearts team. Alistair, you did say St Mirren against the odds should have had a man advantage. They've deserved nothing, St Mirren, absolutely nothing. They've not done enough in either half, not created enough, not put enough pressure on that Hearts back four, back five as it is now, and Hearts thoroughly deserve to be 2-0 ahead, if not more.
Shamal George clips a free kick in towards the edge of the Hearts penalty area. It's headed down by Kent initially. St Mirren pick up, left hand side is Declan John into Campbell on the left flank for St Mirren. In comes Altena, the substitute, on to replace Devlin, with Kabori trying to keep St Mirren at bay, successfully doing so, forcing them back the way. We've played the 4 minutes, there'll be a little bit more because of that injury to Devlin. It's come all the way through to the right hand side to Dowu flashes it across goal. Now Phillips goes for goal. Oh, Gordon's kept it out once more. Another phenomenal save. Just gets his body in the way, does enough to keep it out. Maybe not quite of the world class standard of the one at Dens at the weekend, but nonetheless he's preserved his clean sheet here. Craig Gordon once more. St Mirren come again through Dykesdale, gets to the byline, headed away this time by Milne. Kabori picks up at the edge of his own box under pressure from Freckleton, and then he plays it off Freckleton and out for a Hearts throw in. The victory is absolutely assured now as the final seconds of injury time tick away, and it'll be another huge feeling victory in 3 points.
Alistair, you talk about statement results. This is a statement result. 10 men since the 14th minute, and they've absolutely deserved to win. They should have won by more, if the truth be known.
Out of play for a St Mirren throw in here, midway inside their own half. Gogic takes it quickly, but they can hurry all they like now. There's definitely no time for 2 goals to be scored, as Richardson brings it forward to the halfway line, up towards the edge of the box. Man drawn, it's over him. Lindeloo can't make anything of it either. Hearts hack it clear up to Kabore. Kabore will just try and hold on to it for as long as possible. Under pressure there from Campbell, barged to the ground by Campbell. Hearts get the free kick. We are only seconds away from Tynecastle once again celebrating another victory, unbeaten at home this season, and that will continue.
Berwick keeps up his winning run against St Mirren at home.
He does that. Craig Halkett with the captain's armband launches it up towards Kabore, breaks back to Steinvender. Magnuson now, and then Altena plays it forward for Harry Milne. He's offside. St Mirren will have the free kick, but it's all over in any case, and Tynecastle rises to a claim a massive 3 points, a huge victory under incredibly trying circumstances. But the 10 men of Hearts, for over 75 minutes of this game, have managed to eke out another victory, a fully deserved victory in all honesty, creating the better opportunities, and in the second half finding the goals, initially through their captain Lawrence Shankland, who found the bottom corner after Blair Spittle had picked him out inside the penalty area, and then the header on the rebound from Thomas Bent Magnuson after the initial shot had been saved by George, denying Harry Milne. But there was Magnuson to head in, and Hearts, well, it's just another incredible chapter in this unfolding story that Hearts are creating this season, and they go 6 points clear at the top of the Premiership. St Mirren continue to struggle down the bottom with another defeat, a 4th defeat on the bounce for them. They have to turn the corner, but the story really tonight is about Heart of Midlothian, who continue to defy the odds at the top of the table, and now 22 games in, they have a 6-point lead at the summit. It finishes at Tynecastle, Hearts 2, St Mirren 0.